Welcome to Nicholas Adoko blog series. Is it wise to rely on imports as a nation? Imports are commodities and services purchased from another country by citizens, businesses, and governments. It makes no difference what the imports are or how they are delivered. They can be sent, emailed, or even carried on a plane as personal luggage. Imports are goods made in another country and sold to people in the United States. Tourism-related goods and services are also imported. When you travel outside of the nation, you are bringing back whatever souvenirs you purchased. Let's look at the imports and the trade deficit. Consumers are accustomed to seeing products from all over the world at their local grocery stores and retail outlets in today's global economy. Consumers have additional options with these imported goods from other countries. Imports also assist consumers to manage their tight household budgets, because they are typically manufactured at a lower cost than domestically produced equivalents. When a country's imports outnumber its exports, items delivered from that country to a foreign destination, the country's balance of trade is distorted and its currency devalued. Because the value of a currency is one of the most important indicators of a country's economic performance and gross domestic product, devaluation can have a significant influence on inhabitants' daily lives. A country's ability to maintain an optimum balance of imports and exports is critical. A country's importing and exporting activity has the potential to influence its gross domestic product, exchange rate, inflation, and interest rates. Effect of imports on gross domestic product. A country's gross domestic product is a broad measure of its overall economic activity. The expenditures approach to computing gross domestic product includes imports and exports as significant components. The GDP formula is as follows. GDP equals C plus I plus G plus X plus M, where C represent consumer spending on goods and services, I represent investment spending on business capital goods, G represent government spending on public goods and services, X represent exports, M represent imports. Exports minus imports equals net exports in this equation. The net exports figure is positive when exports surpass imports. This signifies that a country's trade balance is positive. The net exports figure is negative when exports are less than imports. This implies a trade deficit in the country. A country's economic growth is aided by a trade surplus. More exports indicate a high level of output from a country's factories and industrial facilities, as well as a larger number of workers employed to maintain these firms running. When a corporation exports a large number of commodities, it also brings money into the country, stimulating consumer spending and contributing to economic growth. If these imports are primarily productive assets, such as machinery and equipment, the situation is even better for a country, because productive assets boost the economy's production over time. A thriving economy is one in which both exports and imports are increasing. This is a sign of economic strength and a long-term trade surplus or deficit. If exports are increasing but imports are falling, it could mean that foreign economies are doing better than the home economy. In contrast, if exports drop dramatically but imports rise, it may signal that the home economy is doing better than the global economy. Effect of imports on exchange rates. Because there is a perpetual feedback loop between international trade and how a country's currency is valued, the relationship between a country's imports and exports and its exchange rate is complicated. The exchange rate influences the trade surplus or deficit, which influences the exchange rate in turn, and so on. In general, however, a weaker home currency boosts exports while raising import prices. A strong native currency, on the other hand, stifles exports while lowering import costs. Take, for example, a $10 electrical component that will be sent to Nigeria. Assume the Naira to US dollar conversion rate is 500. For the time being, the $10 electronic component would cost the Indian importer 5,000 Naira, ignoring shipping and other processing charges such as importing tariffs. If the dollar strengthened against the naira to a level of 600 naira to $1, and the US exporter did not increase the component's price, the Nigerian importer's price would rise to 6,000 naira, $10 by 600. This could compel the importer to hunt for cheaper components elsewhere. The 20% increase in the value of the dollar against the naira has reduced the competitiveness of US exporters in the Nigerian market. Effect of imports on inflation and interest rates. Inflation and interest rates have a significant impact on imports and exports due to their impact on the currency rate. Higher interest rates are usually associated with higher inflation. It's unclear whether this results in a stronger or weaker currency. A currency that has a higher inflation rate, and thus a higher interest rate, will devalue versus a currency with a lower inflation rate and a lower interest rate, according to traditional currency theory. The difference in interest rates between any two countries equals the predicted change in their exchange rate, according to the uncovered interest rate parity hypothesis. If the interest rate differential between two countries is 2%, the currency of the higher interest rate country is predicted to devalue by 2% against the currency of the lower interest rate country. Exports and the trade balance may suffer as a result of a stronger home currency. Higher inflation can have an influence on exports by directly affecting input costs like materials and labor. These increased expenses may have a significant influence on export competitiveness in the international marketplace. What is the balance of trade? At this point, I think it is clear that relying solely on importation will destabilize a country's economy and is therefore unwise. Neither importation nor exportation can carry the economy of a country by itself. The balance between the two is where the balance of trade, also known as the trade balance, comes in. The difference between the monetary worth of a country's imports and exports over a specific time period is referred to as the balance of trade. A trade surplus is indicated by a positive trade balance, whereas a trade deficit is indicated by a negative trade balance. The balance of trade is a crucial factor in defining a country's current account balance. It's computed by subtracting the value of imports, the value of goods and services purchased from foreign vendors, from the value of exports, the value of goods and services that are sold to buyers in other countries. The balance of trade figure by itself does not give a good picture of how well an economy is doing. Economists believe that trade surpluses, positive balance of trades, and trade deficits, negative balance of trades, are not intrinsically bad or good for the economy. The countries involved, trade policy decisions, the duration of the positive or negative balance of trade, and the extent of the trade deficit, among other variables, all influence whether a positive or negative balance of trade is advantageous to an economy. There are many things at play when it comes to the economy of a country, and they all work together to either boost or hinder the economy. One thing that is for sure is that relying on imports as a country is not the best idea. Kindly like and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more content. After subscribing, click on the bell icon to get notified when we post a new video. Thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful. Let me tell you a little bit about Nikola Sadoko Technologies. We help businesses and companies build an online presence by developing web, mobile, desktop and blockchain applications. As a company, we work with your budget in developing your ideas and projects beautifully and elegantly, as well as participate in the growth of your business. We do a lot of freelance work in various sectors such as blockchain, booking, e-commerce, education, online games, voting and payments. Our ability to provide the needed resources to help clients develop their software packages for their targeted audience on schedule is unmatched. Be sure to contact us if you need our services. We are readily available. Contact us via our website at nikolasadoko.com.